Hi there. Before we begin our guided experience for the white tea number 1, let's take a moment, make yourself comfortable, and try to relax. Whether you're about to enjoy this tea by yourself, with company, in the morning, or after the sunset, we hope this experience can help rest and recharge your mind. This tea is as white as the moon on the one side and as dark as the night on the other. It was given another name by the people who crafted it, Moonlight White. But before you make this tea, I encourage you to closely look at the dry leaves and smell them. You'll see its unique color, and if you look more closely, you could even see the fresh white hairs on the buds. Don't be alarmed. They symbolize freshness and are rich in amino acid, like L-theanine. This tea has mostly maintained its original form and aroma due to its minimalistic crafting process. What you have right in front of you is an example of the Chinese white tea, a tea that was first created in 2004, a relatively new tea compared to others in our collection. It was crafted in the Yunnan province, a southern region that is widely known for its everlasting spring, rich, diverse culture, and wondrous mountains. For your information, Yunnan is also widely believed to be the birthplace of tea, home of the world's oldest cultivated tea trees discovered so far, some 3,200 years old. This tea was harvested and made from Mount Nanor, one of the most renowned and historical tea mountains in Yunnan. The average altitude of the mountain is 4,593 feet, or 1,400 meters, and its annual rainfall measures between 1,500 millimeters to 1,750 millimeters. The mountain is the home of over 30 local villages, and almost all of them rely on the tea industry to make a living. The village located at the peak of the mountain is called Bama, known to the tea world for making the finest tea. Tea made in Bama is often sold at 20 times the price of teas cultivated by other villages from the same mountain. This white tea in your pot was picked from a 40-year-old tea tree grown in the forest at an altitude of 5,906 feet, or 1,800 meters. Yes, I said a forest, not a garden. Each tea tree grows 10 to 16 feet from the next, and all of them are part of a much complex ecosystem where they benefit tremendously from the shades of bigger trees nearby. To understand why shades are good for tea, you need to understand what direct sunlight does to them. When tea leaves are directly exposed under the sun, the UVB radiation from the sunlight can directly increase the level of polyphenol in tea, which makes tea bitter, astringent, and sour. However, other things can naturally shield the tea tree from the UV light. Fog, for instance. At this altitude, air is thinner and colder than the air at foothill, meaning first, fog is more likely to form, and second, they last a lot longer. As fog at the peak of the mountain tends to last till noon, they help dissipate and refract unwanted UV light. This can sound a little counterintuitive, but to slow down with tea, you first need to forget about slow down altogether. Instead, try to direct your full attention to the drink in your cup. Take a deep breath before each sip, and be aware of the warmth of the cup as you hold it in your hand, and how that warmth traveling through your palm. Bring the drink to your nose. Take a gentle inhale, and feel the aroma enter your body. Take a small sip, concentrating your mind on how the tastes diffuse and ripple across your tongue. Does the tea taste floral, grassy, or rosy? Keep your awareness on the inside of your mouth and your palate. Be mindful of the warmth of this tea. Try to let go of any stress or tension in your mind and your body. Let go of the need to overanalyze or to think, and embrace the feelings from drinking this tea. It makes a subtle but unique floral impression that is hard to go by. Most commonly described notes are white rose, Madonna lily, hawthorn, and honey-like aftertaste. Some people even say that they can pick up a hint of ripe fruits. Unlike the green, red, or the oolong tea, white tea was created on the basis of preserving and amplifying the most primordial flavor of the tea leaves. That's why when most tea undergo 3 to 6 different steps of processing, the white tea only goes through 2, namely withering and drying. Once picked by hand, the tea leaves and buds are left to wither inside a warehouse with sufficient sunlight and ventilation. As moistures make their way out of the tea cells, the leaves also experience something called oxidation. The goal here is to lose between 70 to 80% of the moisture, and the tea makers have to pay close attention to how the tea leaves react. When too much moisture is lost, the leaves will lose their flavor and the aromas, and can be easily broken down when dried. But if the withering process ends prematurely, the leaves won't reach the desired oxidation level. This might make the tea taste too grassy, therefore worthless. After roughly 2 to 3 days of withering, before too much oxidation occurs, the leaves and buds are then transferred to dry under the sun. When done correctly, the gentle heat from the sunlight can effectively denature the enzymes, therefore ending oxidation at large. Since the tea's oxidation level was controlled at a minimum, the tea tend to have a much delicate and subtle flavor profiles. So, that's how this tea was made. But wouldn't you wonder about the origin of its name? Remember I said at the beginning that Yunnan is known for its cultural diversity? Well, one of these cultures is the Dai culture. The Dai people have lived in the forest for generations. Even till today, most of them still live along the borders of Burma and Laos. The Dai people have inherited a unique and colorful culture from their ancestors, which is still apparent from the style of cuisine, clothing, architecture, and the tea-making techniques. Towards the end of this recording, I'd like to take a moment to say just about how happy I am to be a part of your tea experience. We spent nearly a year building Good Slow, from finding the best teas, to designing a meaningful slowdown experience down to every pot and website page. We're very aware of the real needs for hustlings, but we also realize that when you move too fast, you often move without joy. And as bad as it is, burnout shouldn't be the only reason for you to try to slow down. Because whenever you do something for the pure sake of enjoyment, that's when your mind can naturally stop wondering and ruminating about everything. Even just for a brief moment, you will automatically leave your concerns, stress, and the reality behind. That moment of true clarity and relaxation is the reason behind everything we do here.